I hope all of you are doing fine. The purpose of coming live today is that students have been asking me how to remain focused in the last few months before the entrance exams. And with the INI CET coming up and with other announcements happening, everyone is a bit tense and stressed. So, just wanted to address those issues. So, as I said, first of all, it's most important that you people stay healthy, stay safe. So, whenever you're stepping out of the house, please take adequate precaution. Please wear your masks. Those who are going to the hospitals, please wear proper protective gear so that you don't fall ill in these crucial months before the exam. Now, these are the most important 2 or 3 months leading up to the exam, and they're the most stressful as well. But what you do in these 2, 3 months determines what you do for the next 40 years in your career. So you really need to remain focused and you need to keep your goal in sight and you need to achieve that. Okay. So focus is the most important thing. And I do some bit of photography, so I can tell you that there are two types of focus which you're looking for. One is the gross focus. The gross focus is pretty easy to get, and we all know that that focus is we need to crack the exam, we need to get a good seat, we need to get the subject of our choice. But the fine focus, when you really capture the essence of the shot, that is the most important, and that is what we need to strive for in these last 2 3 months. We need to fine focus and fine tune our performance to get an optimal result. Now, the first thing with what I want to tell you about of how you can remain focused is to have a routine, and this is very important. It cannot be that you are studying one day, you're studying during the daytime, one day you're studying all throughout the night. That it won't lead to very productive days and you won't recollect much. So having a routine is very important. In fact, to the extent I would say having rituals is also fine. So you must have seen so many cricketers, tennis players, they all have a ritual before they play a shot, before they serve. Right? Some player might twist their bat 5 times in the hand. Some tennis player might bounce the ball 4 times. Now, we all think that these are superstitions. But in reality, these rituals help you to focus and concentrate. Right? So, I'm sure a lot of you must be having these rituals, and you can write in the comments and let me know what rituals you people follow. But for the longest time, I used to make sure that I have my favorite pen and my table is in a particular position before I start studying. Right? So those rituals help you to focus, and there's no harm in having such rituals if they can help you maintain a proper routine. So that's my first request to you. Please stick to a standard routine. It would lead to more productive days. The second thing, which is a problem, is a lot of noise, while we are studying. Now, it can be noise, maybe there's construction happening somewhere, maybe there's cleaning happening in your house. And I used to remember that I used to get really angry if people were cleaning or cooking food while I was studying, and I literally used to go and tell them that you need to stop, because I'm studying. But that's not always possible. Right? We can't always control ambient noise and sound around us. It can be distracting. So one way to manage that is to focus using white noise. Now, what exactly is white noise? White noise is just an ambient sound which can play in the background, and it can negate the other sounds which are happening. And when you have that sound going on, it'll help you concentrate. Right? So for me, the sound of water, rain, those have a calming effect and they would help me concentrate better. Similarly, for different people, there can be different sounds which can help them concentrate if something is bothering you. So, identify that if there's a lot of ambient noise around you, white noise, you can get these white noise sounds from YouTube, and you can listen to them and utilize them in your daily practice. The third thing, which is the biggest killer of productive days, is social media and phone. And I know it's a bit of a cliche that we are interacting on social media when I'm telling you that you shouldn't be spending too much time on it. So I'm not saying don't spend any time on it, but you need to allocate a set amount of time for social media and your phone every day, right? Don't go overboard, because there are multiple studies which have said that every time you take a break and you start studying again, it would take at least 15 to 20 minutes for you to come into full focus again. So every time we are looking at our phone, we are replying to a WhatsApp, that is going to bother you, and it is going to affect your productivity. So allocate some time for phone and social media. Don't overshoot that time on a daily basis. That is very important. The next thing is you need to set goals for yourself, right? It should be goal driven study in the next few months. It shouldn't be that you should just be stuck on your table just for the heck of it the entire day. If you're meeting your target for that day, after that you're free to watch television, you're free to go out with your friends, you're free to watch some shows on Netflix. That is all fine. You don't need to sit on the table the entire day and console yourself that, look, I'm sitting on the table. But if it's not materializing into productive days, there's no point. So goal setting should be done. You should stick to your goals. Once you finish your goals for that day, you can. So once you have finished your goals for that day, please reward yourself, because attaching a reward to a goal would help you to achieve that easily, right? That would be incentive enough for you to push yourself and achieve the goal for that day. And once you're doing short-term goals, then mid-term goals for the next 3-4 months can also be achieved easily, right? So reward yourself, whether it's in the form of treating yourself to a chocolate, or probably ordering some food for yourself, or watching some TV shows. That's all fine, provided you meet your goals. Now, the other thing is, when you're studying, have a clean environment. Your study table should also be clean. There should be positive vibes coming from it, right? Have your notice board where you're sticking up your goals and your last minute revision things. You can stick them up there, but having a clean table really helps in the concentration. Okay. Another question which students ask me is, what if we end up wasting a day, right? What do we do if we end up wasting a day? Well, we can't have the same amount of productivity for the next 90 days. That is not possible. We can strive towards that, but it's not always possible. So if you're studying less one day, don't be harsh on yourself. Okay, it's fine to have an off day. Not all players, not all cricketers score runs every day. Not all bowlers take wickets every day. So it's fine to have an off day. But what is important is how you bounce back the next day, right? So if you've had an off day today, you need to make up for that time, and probably the next day you need to make up for that time in the next 2 or 3 days, and that is possible. But don't be too harsh on yourself, okay? Now, another way to revise. Now, there are two types of people, two types of students who are there. One are students who rely more on visual memory, right? For them, reading helps in better retention. Whereas there's another category of students where listening to things helps in better retention. So you need to identify this for yourself, whether you like to read and then retain, or you like to listen and then your retention power is better. Because if you like to read and retain, then stick to your notes, and they should be your best source of revision, But if you are the one who likes to listen and then revise, then I would recommend listening to rapid revision videos and other videos which would help you to remember the subject better. Right? So, this is another thing which you need to identify for yourself. Okay. One more thing which I want to tell you is that if you're studying one subject the entire day, the productivity is going to go down. Now is the time when you need to be studying at least two subjects a day. And how do you divide those two subjects? So one should be a clinical subject which is going to stimulate the analytical part of your brain. You don't have to mug up facts. It's more reasoning based. So that's that stimulation for another part of the brain. Whereas in the second half of the day, you can do a subject which is purely memory based. Right? You can probably do an anatomy or a biochemistry or a pathology where a lot of facts have to be retained. So by doing this, by doing two separate subjects which are stimulating different parts of your brain, your retention would be better and the productivity is going to be better. So that is another advice which I would like to give to you. Right? Okay, so these were some simple tips from my side. Now I can see that there are certain questions for me as well, so let me address those questions. Somebody is asking, it's very difficult for an intern to maintain the same routine every day. Absolutely agree with you. And you people, hats off to you that you were going to the clinics, you're taking care of, some of you are taking care of corona patients as well, and then to come back and study. Hats off to you guys. But what I am trying to tell you is that if you're doing a goal driven study, then even if the routine is not there because of your internship, you can still end up having productive days. So stick to your goals every day. Excellent. Somebody is asking, what is the solution for getting burned out? So the solution for getting burned out is that, set realistic goals for yourself. I fondly remember I had a friend in a school, and every day, we used to have an exam, and then there used to be 3 or 4 days in between before the next exam. So he used to set such unreasonable goals for himself that he never used to meet those targets on a daily basis. And what that used to lead to was that by the end of the day, he was frustrated. And day in, day out, when he wasn't meeting his goals, that's what led to him getting burnt out easily, and he could not focus much. So realistic goals are very important, and I cannot set goals for you. You only have to realize what is the optimum output for you and try to achieve that. Don't make goals which cannot be achieved. That would just lead to more frustration and you can get burnt out. Second thing is that please, some amount of physical activity and meditation is very important. So for 20 minutes also, if you go for a walk, and if you're 10 minutes also you do deep breathing exercises, it's going to have a huge impact on how your day progresses. The third thing is not rewarding yourself for achieving goals. So if you're achieving goals but you're not rewarding yourself, the body cannot sustain it for a very long period. So have a positive reinforcement or some reward for yourself, and that would prevent you from getting burnt out. Having a lot of distractions, how to be consistent. Well, that's what I have covered in the last few minutes, that how to avoid those distractions. And I guess the biggest distractor for us these days is the phone and social media. So what I would recommend to all of you, and I've been doing this for a very long time, that for you guys, social media, there are two purposes which it is solving. If you're learning something from it, or just as an entertainment tool. So as an entertainment tool, your phone and your social media should not exceed more than 1 hour a day, right? That too is the upper limit. If you're using it for learning, then it's a separate purpose altogether, and then you can allocate your time and utilize it, right? But for pure entertainment purposes, not more than 1 hour a day. Correct. So this is another very good question. How to overcome the thinking of getting a low score? So this is only going to go away with positive reinforcement. And if you have one good day, and if you start thinking about that one good day, that look, I had this good day where I was able to achieve my target. In fact, I overshot my target. I was able to do more. And then when I solved questions, I got 80% correct. So once you have 2 or 3 days like this, these positive days would keep on playing in your mind, and then that those negative thoughts are going to go away. That is why I'm saying meditation also helps. So just 10 minutes of breathing exercises every day would help you get rid of these negative thoughts. Excellent question. How to stop ourselves from reading new things at this time? So, good. So, in October is the end point when you should be reading new things, following which November and December should be pure revision of what you've already read, because any new thing which you try to read in the latter half of October, November, December, it won't register in your mind easily because you're already so anxious. Abhi, you feel like that if you open the book, you remember things. As soon as you close the book, you'll think that I've forgotten things. And on top of this, if you start reading new things, you'll get ever more confused. So please revise what you have read till now. Don't do new things. Very important. And don't fall in the trap of seeing what your friend or colleague is doing, right? Because we see that, oh, he's reading that book, I should also read that book. But what happens most of the time is that you eventually waste time reading that resource because you already know most of it. Okay, so don't fall in that trap. Stick to your schedule and your plan. Don't follow anyone else's plan. Girls must be well aware of this. If you wear somebody else's slippers or sandals and walk around, you can sometimes have a fall, and you don't want to do that. So stick to your plan. So, how should we modify our goals if we just fall short by a little every day? That's a good question. So, that's where the concept of daily goals, weekly goals, and monthly goals come in. So, if you're falling short every day, I'm sure there would be some days in the week where you will have spare time and you can cover up for those days. So you might miss your goal 2 or 3 days in a week, but you can still end up finishing your weekly goal and your monthly goal. So don't get flustered if you're missing your target on 1 day or 2 days. You can always make up. Look, if you've met with an accident, if you fall sick, these are things which are not in our control. And what has happened has happened. We can't be thinking about it. I think so, whatever time is left, you should focus on that and try to make the most of it, right? There would be people, unfortunately, who will probably get exposed to COVID patients, might contract COVID as well. But, the exam is not going to stop for you. That's the harsh reality. So either you can crib and say that, look, I was the unlucky one who got it, or you can make full use of that time and try to achieve whatever you can, right? So it's all in the mindset, how you want to approach that scenario or that problem. With regards to remaining focused, I've covered some very simple tips for you. Just to summarize what I've told you, number one, you need to have a routine. Do goal-based study, not number of hours, but number of productive hours and goal-based study. You need to have short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. Give yourself a reward if you're achieving your goals, right? Rewards are going to push you to achieving your goals, and that is the incentive. So always have an incentive associated with your goals. If have a clean study environment. If there's a lot of ambient noise, you can utilize white noise strategy. Those clips are available on YouTube and other apps. You can utilize help you in concentrating. Study at least two subjects every day, and even if you have an off day, don't get flustered as long as you're meeting your goals, right? Thank you very much for tuning in. I will post this video on IGTV and YouTube. You can have a look at it there. If you have any further questions, you can just write in the comment section and I'll reply back to your queries. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a nice day.